This is my first broadcast. I'd just like to say Shalom and thanks for coming along. New to this, so I'm just going to see how it works out. My friend, my best bud, is he with me? He's my producer today, so
his technical producer.
so it should run. Yeah, hope everybody's doing well. A lot of stuff to put forward. If you've found my channel, you'll know that with another, which was Friends in Truth, has run for about since I had my awakening, and journey. I've had a lot of help, people, Casey included, all helped in their way, and as we know, when you get to this pathway, sometimes it's those that you're closest to that are hard you're walking, and you'll realize that and know what I'm saying is true. You have to keep on, right? So
where'd your journey start, Mark? Mark, when did you start awakening? Did that have to do with your accident?
yeah,
About that?
that's good. Yeah, so I had a YAHUSHA back in May 2015. It was one of those sort of things that it could have ended badly, but it was with the urge to want to discover something more than what we all seem to get, which the truth, it's it's somebody else's version of, and what I've discovered since having that accident and spare time on my hands is that it's like turning over rocks. You have to the rock to, because there's a whole world of stuff going on under a rock. Luckily, the rock that I turned over is the main rock that you want to be on, and just by turning that rock over, found a lot of stuff that has led back to the original word of the Most High, called God. It's a whole rabbit hole of different things along this path. Maybe you'll be blessed to find out words like Casey has mentioned in his channel, and they've been used since the beginning of time to people. They've done a good job of it, and it's held a lot of people back from intended was our escape world of man thinking that he is God. Some of you that realize that the we get given is not, and like the ask and it will be given, and in the right way, words is first of all a place what you're seeing, and having the ears and the discernment to be able to discern all of the put in front of you to so that's basically to do with this channel. See who like to help with getting this truth.
Well, that's good. It's a good introduction to Mark's. You know, he wants to take this channel on a direction, and even I don't have the gift for it. My gift is more like and all the stuff that everyone else is looking at and helping to stop people out of the sorcery. It's down into the word, into the ancient Hebrew texts. You know, a lot of people complain about saying that it's written by Freemasons and all this. The Bible is not written by Freemasons, you guys. The Bible is written by 40 authors, which is interesting and ties in to all the other 40 number, the 40 days and 40 nights in Christ being in the wilderness, the 40 days and 40 nights of rain, 40 years that the Israelites were in the wilderness. 40 authors that wrote the Bible. All that means something. And so, you know, what all that really means. The ancient Hebrew is the ancient Hebrew. We have ancient manuscripts going back to 300 BC, the earth. And
should we pull some of that up there? We've got a couple of screenshots.
Yeah, we're going to show some screens here. What are you looking at here, Mark?
Okay, so many of you are probably with the KJV, right? KJV is, let's say, not the latest version of the Bible, but people hold to be the version of the English language version of the truth. And we know, like, they've took out 60,000 different words from the Bible, NIV, and different things that are around today. They're just switching it all around, and they don't want you to see. That's why I discovered this one through another channel, because it's with different some people have audio visual talent, some people are good narrators, good at putting out Hollywood style video, and you know, it's all good behind it, and the Holy Spirit is in that person who's putting it out there. So basically, you know, if you're looking for truth in the Bible, back to the beginning of it, and that's what I discovered. And it started me off discovering the Paleo-Hebrew, which of ancient Egypt, which is to today, where, you know, come out of her, my people, the beast. They had a beast back in that day. Slave masters were the pharaohs. Today we have that same in place. Only this time, because we've discovered that the Bible plays out in a, like the Ouroboros, it just around. If you missed it the first time, ongoing repeat loop that keeps coming to another chance, another chance, always another chance to realize it, and then you can from this loop. And basically, who were the ones that were blessed in the seed of the Most High, the Adam, the original man, went crazy. And they had their friends and their audio spoken word that the Most High wants out, they hijack it in their version.
Talk a little bit about the Paleo-Hebrew. What that was. Isn't that the Hebrew that appeared on the original copies of the Bible?
Right, yeah. Here is the Hallelujah Scriptures, which it's a donation. It's a free that's donations, and it distributes out to the fortunate in this world, the Most High and His Son people. And what you're looking at is the name Yah, which spelt from the right hand as you're viewing it. On the right hand side, symbol, our sounding Y, is actually the original lettering would have been man, and by Moses even. The second letter along, reading from right to left, how Hebrew was written, is the of the H, and all of these will be hopefully in depth later on in my output from this channel, you a deeper understanding and the full meaning of what words do actually mean. Words, because when you understand the lettering, it's a whole new world. And letter can mean it paints 1,000 words. One word can paint 1,000 meanings, and it's just like opening a door with this. Hopefully you will to be able to understand the hidden meaning behind everything. Page here, the work I'm trying to do, deciphering the Bible from original Genesis. As you can see here, it's quite a long, sort of drawn out process, because I live in the world, I'm in it, things to do in this world that we have to do, and so my time to actually do this research is pretty limited. I keep working away, and hopefully I'll eventually get to the end before we reach the end. And what we start off here is, this is Genesis 1. So if you can see at the top, we have Hebrew from right to left, Bereshit is written with the symbol B, which actually stands for a house. That's the view of a tent, because houses were not brick back in these times. These were tents.
Which one's Bereshit? Oh, that whole word is
Bereshit, reading from right to left.
You guys remember, read from right to left. It's different than reading left to right in English language. It's backwards.
Exactly, yeah.
Which should tell you something right there, right?
Yeah.
The mirrors.
Yes, exactly. Everything's been switched around for a fraction to get to that point, you know, but you have to go past that point. There is overview plan of a tent. So you would enter here. Have we got a pen here at all?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you enter into the tent, the entrance.
So you enter into the tent, and you come into the enclosure of the house. Now that of B, it also had the sound of V. Different people pronounce different in different ways. It's a B. That's the letter behind that symbol. Here is version of what an R would have been drawn as. The original R, I draw it like this, and able to write this all down, because symbol for the R was a man's head, face, shape of the skull, and you know, a human in human form. That was his head. That's what governs his actions and his thoughts and controls his body, like the computer of. So
is there you know, in symbols like the triangle,
yeah,
in we know that energy coming from heaven in the form of a triangle. So maybe this is what this is, right, like our to the Most High.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can see that as it goes on in even man himself. Now this is the key point. When man originally had these symbols, they've been corrupted through the way they're drawn and carved into stone. That's where people have lost the meaning. They've been corrupted and
hidden,
maybe hidden,
obscured, occulted.
Exactly. And just basically switched to man's understanding. As we all know, you know, if you rely on your own understanding, that's not the way. Put your faith in the Most High. That's the secret of it, you know.
What does the word Bereshit mean? Is that in the beginning or beginning?
Bereshit means beginning, start of something, the creation of something. So as you can see here, I've got like three different, you have the symbol itself, you have the modern English equivalent of the sound of the letters. What you have here is the actual meaning of the symbol. So going back to the B, that actual house means head. The A, which is a representation of if it was to twist this around on its side, it would represent the horns of the ox, denoted strength. The ox's head was the strength back in the day then. So it means strength. the what looks like a W, which is actually on into two V's. Channels have done videos on this. Once you get this knowledge, you'll be able to this actually stands for the letter S, an H sound, so more like a sh, like you're shooing something away. It's that shush. And what it represents is two teeth. This is the two teeth of a, and as you know, when you bite something to separate it. Food, you separate the food into smaller pieces. That, as you can see there, it means divide. Is an outstretched arm. You can see the palm of the hand coming underneath, the forearm, and the arm returning up to the shoulder here.
To summarize real quick, first word, the beginning, the word is beginning, it's Barshu, how do you say it?
Bereshith.
Bereshith. This one word has all this description, and Mark's going to summarize that as soon as he gets to the end of the word. Exactly. We're still on the first word.
Yeah. In the beginning was the word.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the word down of it. So yeah, the forearm means because somebody's actions, you know somebody by their fruit. Actions with your person, and that's a righteous action. No, we can also have unrighteous actions. So, you know, this symbol form means the Y
because it has two fingers. What that's telling me is you either have a choice to do good or evil.
Yeah, it's a fork. That's your choice there. You know, you have the choice to do bad works, and that later on can be used if you go through the Bible, the history of the Bibles and the translation of the Bibles. Why the Y sound has been through the Greek language into the J sound, and this is the rabbit hole here. This one here is the rabbit hole that leads to the J. That is also from the Greek, which the original Greek language, Jesus, which was then translated back in 100 when they translated the Bible in England.
Yeah,
and that's where you get the J, but it wasn't originally. It was a Y sound symbol here. Now the last letter in this original first word of the Bible is a T. There's the symbol for the T.
T is the OX.
That's an OX, but what this symbol represents is a basket. This is a basket. These are the handles of the basket. If any of you got fruit in your garden and you pick some apples up or collect some form of fruit from the vegetable garden, have a basket, and you'll take the basket with you to the stuff, and you'll place the things in the basket. This is what the symbol actually originally looked like and meant. The English version here, which is the T. So you collect things, you put them in a basket. That whole compilation of letters form that one's in the beginning.
Damn, after all of those, what is the real meaning of the word beginning? Combine all that together.
Well, basically, it means created. It is the creation and the starting point for something.
Yeah, like so you have house.
Yeah, exactly.
That is strong,
divided
through his action
and collected
it into one spot. Wow, that means so much more than it did before.
Exactly. As Casey says, this thing goes deep, and it does go deep. Worth of deep. Basically, this is the sort of thing that I'm going to be doing on my channel here. And did you want to touch on that one?
Yeah, just for people that are seeing a giant pitchfork in the middle of your screen.
Okay.
You know, he wants to be like the Most High and elevate himself above the Most High. All of this is written in the Bible. So he's taken some of these symbols and he's corrupted them. And he's taken them as his own and counterfeited and hijacked them.
Shall I explain what that one is?
Yeah.
Okay. And symbol here. Symbol. So H for heaven. The representation is a man body, and here's his head, and these are the upstretched arms. Had his arms stretched up to heaven to praise the Most High. Praise, worship, will originally look like behind it.
That's the real meaning. He would use the pitchfork and say, okay, the man to be praising to heaven. So he's taken one of the most basic and important symbols that God had in his word, the Hebrew letters, and the devil has used it now as his pitchfork. This actual letter added to people's names in the Bible.
Yes.
Why don't you tell them a little bit about that, Mark?
Okay, then. Yeah, I can. One. So let's take a couple of names. Explore that. Let's take Sarai first. Now, Sarai was children for pretty much most of her life, I think, wasn't it? Until she was sort of 80 or something. Spelled S. I haven't got a picture of that S here. I think it might have been that one. It could have been the other one. There's another one later on, which I'll show you later on. Her name originally didn't have the H letter in it.
Right.
That she wasn't in her. She was just an ordinary, regular or. And once Abraham, A-B-R-A-M. He was of the seed of the Most High and put his whole actions, his head, and everything else, house of the Most High. These other components.
So what Mark is saying is they were born with a certain name, but then at a certain point in their life, renamed these people
and blessed them.
Added the H to their name.
Yes.
Sarai,
Abraham
became Abraham. Sarai became Sarai.
There's a whole load of them.
We might have to do that on two.
Yeah.
And then people will come back and listen to.
Exactly.
This is just one example of all the stuff that Mark's going to be covering on his channel. This is stuff that I'm not gifted with. I mean, I could be, but my focus is different places. So I'm happy to team up with Mark.
That leads me to another thing, because we kind of spur off of each other. Spoke briefly the other day about Remember that one?
Yes, the pigskin.
The pigskin. If any of you go to a football game,
Mm-hmm.
you have two H's. And what do? If you want to win the game, you kick a ball through the H. You're kicking in through a holy letter. And I don't like using the word holy even, because that you have to go further deeper to understand that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually ruach. The ruach is like the spirit. That is what this symbol represents in the game of football. It's like the actual, and kick the football through the H. It's like an abomination.
Exactly. Through the clean.
Yeah, exactly. So, as you hopefully can all see now, it is deep, but if you path and follow this, if it kindles a little spark in you, then found a good starting point.
This is called digging and finding God. People that difficult. It's just we've lost our way. We've lost stuff. I mean, if you look at even some of these symbols to understand, then even because they actually mean something, you can actually see the meaning letters in the letter.
Yeah,
it's basically a hieroglyph to a certain degree.
Right.
Now, what's interesting also is if you look at the comparative symbols of the Egyptians, of some of these same letters, to hide the true meaning and to flip it into an evil meaning.
Exactly, because I think the last count I was up to about approximately, and there's probably 10 have got the same symbol phonetically of the Hebrew version.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, and if started an interest in you here, hopefully follow the path and we'll see where it ends up. But if spiritual person, you are looking in the word, hopefully you'll find it. I had to do a lot of searching before the point that I'm at, and it basically you can't take it from somebody else. You have to look for yourself and discover it yourself. It can't be given by a person. I know I'm showing you, but I can't show you and make you get it. You have to have that light switched on and switched on.
Yep. Shout out to Stanislaw who joined us today. Appreciate you, girl. There's going to be a lot more live shows here with Mark. I'm probably going to try to join Mark in the beginning until he gets his.
Yeah.
Live streaming is a little bit of a challenge at times. It's kind of hard, but to do it, he wants to share it with all of you guys. So this is going to be a blessing to you and him.
We'll kind of finish things off here. Hope you all have a blessed day. See you on the next one. And we'll carry on the journey.
You guys.
Thanks, Casey. Thanks for all your help.
Be safe, everybody. Let's close this out here.
Shalom.
Shalom.